Jamie.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
How y'all doing out there? Hopefully
Excellent.
excellent. I was gonna say the same thing.
Excellent.
This is Jamie, and I'm Trevor, and this is the Beer Banter Podcast, episode number 7. Wow.
Aren't I executive guest?
Executive guest host.
Yes.
This episode is officially sponsored by Walkerville Brewery out in beautiful Windsor, Ontario. We thank our friends over at Walkerville for supplying these beers for this episode. We're going to try them. And we're also going to talk about AI in the brewing industry, how that affects our jobs.
AI.
You and AI. Oh, the jokes are already coming. So stick around, and we're going to chat about all the things that you need to know and perhaps some other ones that you didn't need to know, and drink some great beer. So cheers.
So we've been debating, because of my new look, beard trim, hair trim, what I would look like before. And our wonderful friends over at Artificial Intelligence created me and Trevor to look a certain way. So here it is.
This was at Rorschach. It was a photo I grabbed from the screen recording, and it's pretty cartoonish.
Yeah,
but
I got a nose job. I got a haircut.
Yeah.
Trevor got sunburned. But they just picked up on your red hair.
I think so, yeah. And they made my mustache like what I wish it looked like.
A real cookie duster.
A real push broom. Yeah, so AI, there's a very interesting take on AI as we stand today. There's environmental impacts that we obviously realize. And I don't know about how anybody else out there feels about AI. You should probably use it sparingly. In the brewing industry particularly, the CBAs did introduce this year an AI type judging platform. Basically, you were sort of training an AI model to determine what customers' needs are based on the types of beer they buy. So AI wasn't helping in judging the beers at all, which is, I think, what was misunderstood.
Good.
Yeah, I would not send my beer to...
You pour it on your keyboard and be like, what's the hot profile on this thing?
You'll have a little vial. You can just pour it in, and then you'll just close this chamber, like push a button.
I hope to Christ that doesn't happen.
And it'll be like, you are drinking Bud Light. It's like,
wow.
But no, I'm not.
This is Scotch ale.
Like, would you like to try again? You've selected no.
Would you like to play again? You have selected no.
Sorry, that was Lee Carvello's putting challenge.
It's a nice one. It's really bizarre, and I get it as like a filtering process, like to sort of like streamline and get things into where they need to be, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, it's so weird for beer judging. Yeah.
I mean, when you're learning how to do something, sometimes you Google it, sometimes you read a book.
What?
Yeah. The library still exists, everyone, if you didn't know that. And also you can just buy books at your local store.
You could probably go take out John Palmer.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
How to brew.
John Palmer's probably selling his book in a Barnes & Noble right now.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the States. I don't know where he lives, but I think
or you can get on your e-reader thing.
Yeah. Kobo.
Yeah.
Or whatever the heck you
those
do.
are.
AI is basically just an easier way for people to learn. And it's easier for some people. Some people completely swear off AI altogether. And that's fine. But so I think Whistle Boy Brewing out in Victoria, BC. Whistle Boy was the first brewery that I heard of that brewed beer from AI. And it just basically spat out a homebrew recipe for a hazy IPA. They brewed it. They did agree that it was a beer recipe, but AI can't necessarily do what brewers who have been brewing for 10, 15, 20, 25 years.
Hundreds of years even.
Or hundreds of years know how to do.
Yeah.
And there are plenty of books out there that you can read to learn this stuff instead of, this was just a fun experiment that they did. And I thought it was cool before I really knew or even used AI at all. It's something that...
You don't use it to shower?
Not really. I mostly use it to
Where do I start washing?
I ask it how to shower, and then it tells me which body parts to wash first, so that you don't, you don't compromise another body part.
Or if you're out in your garage or your garage
orifice,
and you're using your power washer,
yeah, I could get
car soap. You're just like, I need a quick shower.
Yeah, if you're power washing your asbestos garage, that's probably not the asbestos move. So
Nice.
I would stop that right away. Yeah,
I like it.
I was gonna get that in your eye.
I wonder if AI would be able to recreate a Walkerville recipe from 1885 when they started in Windsor.
Let's find out.
Okay.
Let's do it. That's our cue to open up the honest lager. Let me just finish off my my dishonest lager right here.
We don't know what that is.
This is a mystery beer, and if anybody can guess what it is, I owe you a beer.
Yeah, we're back.
And we're back.
We got Honest Lager from Walkerville. Thank you very much, everyone. Great friends over there. Big brewery. I think it's in the original space.
Oh, yeah.
It
Cool.
originally started in.
Yeah.
1885 or something like that. It's downtown. It's right next to Seagram's, or where Canadian Club was made.
Right.
So it's a big distillery brewing district
Cool.
in Walkerville / Windsor, Ontario.
Cool.
Yeah, really nice area.
I like that. I love old buildings. I live in distillery. Can you tell?
Here we are.
There was a fire at Mill Street. Did you guys know that? It was in the 1800s. So
Wait,
you might
was
not
it
have.
an Old Flame?
Ooh, ba-dum. Port Perry.
Yep.
Nice.
Lager.
Honest lager.
Look at that. Nice
Cheers.
colors. Nice and clear.
Very nice.
I think it might be little bottom feeders in there.
I got a little floaties, but that's okay. I know exactly. I'm not the one to complain about that. I know how craft beer's made. I make it.
What was the last one that we had that was like mud? We did IPA episode.
Oh, not mud, but was it?
It was Duck's Burdock.
Oh yeah. That's
like
big East Cape.
We had hop leans in there.
Yeah,
It's still delicious.
that's okay.
But what do you think? This is kind of like Marzen.
Yeah, it's a little darker. I would say
I think they call it
5
amber.
SRM maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
craft lager, but I think we're
6
like
maybe?
amber lager.
Yeah,
Oh, Oktoberfest.
Definitely deep gold.
Yeah.
So,
Oktoberfest style.
oh, interesting.
So yeah, it's like a little amber. It's great. Nice body.
It's pleasant. It has a lot of malt character up front. The hops are definitely taking a back seat on this one.
Yeah.
There's just enough there to have the IBUs kind of balance out the malt. I would wager a Franklin, or in our case, a Willie. A Where's Willie? That they're probably only doing one bittering charge to this.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be any Whirlpool or late hop additions on the nose or on the palate.
You think a classic Magnum at the start?
Yeah, something just clean and bitter. Magnum's my favorite. Did they say anything? Honest is a handcrafted German Oktoberfest style lager. This malty.
So in the mash tun, they're stirring.
Yeah.
Wow. Every last drip.
This malty award-winning lager is rich in toasted malt and caramelized bread flavors, clean, crisp, and easy drinking with a balanced bitterness from German hops. So German. So yeah. German Magnum.
Very noble.
Yeah. Could be Hallertauer. Well,
Is that German?
Yep. I think so. I'm getting like some tradition vibes. I don't know. Hallertauer trad.
Tradition. Yeah. Hopefully, Walkerville can leave a comment and give us their AI generated recipe of Honest Lager in the comments.
Yeah, please give us a
homebrew scale.
Give us a homebrew recipe
scale.
and we'll brew it on that thing. Homebrew's coming in the next month, people. Don't worry, it's coming. Just gotta finish that system build. So don't worry. I am the one who knocks.
I am the one who knocks.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah. On the topic of Breaking Bad, I used a GIF from Breaking Bad where it's the scene where Hank has found the notebook. Ooh. And it's like to WW.
Yep.
And he's like, who could WW stand for? Walt Whitman? Willy Wonka? Walter White? You got me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I completely forgot all about what we were just talking about Breaking Bad.
Well, we're like rolling back and forth.
So yeah, Whistle Boy in Vancouver. This was in 2023, February of 2023. There's an article on CBC here. This Vancouver Island brewery hopped into ChatGPT for marketing material. Yes.
It's Whistle Boy.
Whistle Boy.
As in B-U-O-Y.
Buoy.
Out in the ocean.
Yeah. Buoy. That's clever because they are on the ocean. I've been to that brewery. Really great. Great beer. Great people. It's dog-friendly patio as well.
Hey, that's nice nowadays.
They're one of their slogans is pop in, have a beer, pet a dog. And we had our dog with us when we were there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it says they reached out to ChatGPT for marketing material, then they asked it for a beer recipe. One of the quotes from the article, we're not saying it's good and we're not saying it's bad, but the beer that it told us to produce is solid.
It reminds me of doing tuna casserole from the Better Homes cookbook.
Yeah.
You know? The like red and white plaid one.
Yeah, I remember
probably about that thick.
Yeah, the old school one.
Thick?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, that's...
Pretty
sure my grandma had that too. Yeah. Broccoli casserole.
Tuna casserole. Chicken casserole.
Yeah.
Probably an attempt at some sort of Mexican food, maybe tacos, but it was just a Taco Bell.
The one where they tell you to reach for the mild old El Paso and say, watch out, that stuff's spicy.
That's the one.
Watch out, Karen, that's got some spice on it.
There's definitely a turkey.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's got to be.
Christmas?
Yeah.
A stuffing?
Yep. There better be ham in there too.
Salisbury steak, maybe?
Oh, yeah. So Julia Child. They're Julia Childing it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's
a classic. Julia Child.
I think that was your Christmas gift if you were a subscriber to Better Homes.
Nice.
You got the magazine once a month, and then for Christmas you got the red and white plaid.
You sure it wasn't Homemakers magazine? They had recipes in there too.
I don't know. We're gonna have to ask AI about that one.
It's on the cover at one point.
Oh yeah, you're famous.
Trevor, may I?
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting because this was in 2023 and I remember reading
adjunct to add to a stout.
I honestly I knew what AI was, but I had no idea ChatGPT. I didn't know of ChatGPT until I read this article.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem like that long ago, but I swear it's like I thought it was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. This was like not even 3 years ago. A brief rundown on this article here. They asked a ChatGPT to come up with a recipe. What did they say? They asked for a fluffy, tropical, hazy pale ale. And so it listed the recipe, said, sure, here's a recipe for a hazy pale ale that should be fluffy and tropical. So it listed the ingredients as 6 pounds of pale ale malt, 8 ounces of oats, 4 ounces of wheat, 1 pound of flaked wheat, 1 pound of flaked oats, 1 pound of lactose. Nope. Then 2 ounces of mosaic, 1 ounce of Citra, 1 ounce of Eldorado hops. Make sure you do the 1 teaspoon of the real old Irish moss. That's the best.
Go to Ireland and get it.
Yeah,
go to Ireland.
Yeah. It's neither Irish nor moss, which is funny, but I don't know.
Your favorite ale yeast? What would you pick for your favorite ale yeast?
It's kind of funny. This is the one thing in the article where they had to do a little bit of, okay.
Well, they had to like figure something out for themselves?
Well, it's a good brewery. They know what they're doing, but they're just like, that's interesting. Like because a hazy pale ale is only as good as the yeast that it's fermented with, in my opinion, because
chef.
If you try and do a hazy pale ale with a USO5, Chico strain California ale yeast. It's going to be very clean, not super fruity.
We might even call that an American IPA.
Yeah, and it's going to clean up. It's going to be way too dry. Maybe that's why you add the lactose. That's why they're saying that. But for like if you're using dried yeast, like from Fermentis, S33 or SO4 would be good. But obviously Foggy London or London Ale 3 from
I would have said the exact same. A nice English ale yeast would be great.
Yeah, English Ale yeast. London Ale 3 is really basically Foggy London is from London Ale 3 from Y yeast. So it's just they took the strain and just reproduced it.
Yep.
Escarpment. Yep. Shout out Escarpment. Also Y yeast. They're all there. I mean, Fermentis as well. We just had a yeast talk yesterday. It was great times at GLB Brew Pub, where we went on location. You can find that on location episode right here. I mean,
pretty standard fermentation times, 20C.
Yep.
Do it as long.
Mash the grains for 67 Celsius for 60 minutes.
Or use a nice Kveik one and get the shit done.
Yeah, you could do that too.
And drink sooner.
Yeah. This recipe will yield 5 gallons, 19 liters. So it's basically spitting out a homebrew recipe. That's what it's doing. Obviously, I know this from scouring homebrew message boards when I was first starting out homebrewing in like 2013, 2014. It's the classic somebody who's new to brewing posts, hey, I have this idea for a recipe. What do you guys think? And then they'll just put the recipe. And then somebody who has like 8,493 posts who's been homebrewing for way too long and thinks they're like so smart just says like, well, it'll make beer. Can remember that first joke, Grandpa. But I did learn from homebrewing to professional brewing that's keeping it simpler is really, it all comes down to your process.
And saves you a bit of money.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Big time.
You can't brew a great beer with bad process, but you can brew an okay beer with a shitty recipe.
Yeah.
If your processes are in. You can brew a shit beer with an amazing recipe and bad processes. Like it's just, you have to know your equipment. You have to know your mash temperatures. You have to know all like your water chemistry. You have to know all this kind of shit that homebrewing is one of those things where you like that's either homebrewing or schooling are the two ways where you figure that shit out quick.
Yeah.
And
one of my first homebrew hazy IPAs, I didn't have oats, but I did have peaches and cream Quaker oat packs. And I used those instead.
I was actually wondering if I could use those.
I used like half a box, like maybe the whole box. I don't know how many packs, like 8 packs in a box.
That's awesome.
But I used like a bunch of those.
Nice.
It's fine. It was fine.
I mean, there's some sugar in there. And probably some maltodextrin or whatever the hell they put in that shit. Like
pretty high gravity.
Yeah.
I feel like the like dehydrated peaches in there are also covered in sugar.
Interesting.
Yeah. It worked.
Cool.
It wasn't great.
Well, it's another experiment we can do with this fucking thing. Why not? Let's throw some in there.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
awesome.
A stout with the maple cinnamon one.
Yeah. I used to love the maple cinnamon one. That was my go-to.
Yeah.
My maple brown sugar. Maple brown sugar. Yeah. Oh, that was my go-to.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, with a little bit of extra brown sugar on the top.
All right.
Mix it around. Yeah.
You're saving a lot of money on buying oats that you'll never probably use again.
Yeah.
Because how often do you really make oatmeal?
Well, it's kind of funny because the reason why I started thinking about, hey, could I use these packets is like we have a pound of oats in the cupboard right now. I was making these like protein balls
that are dehydrated and dried out. And stale as fuck.
Yeah, they're completely what do you call that? Gelatinized. Yeah.
Yeah.
And broken down. But you could use those in brewing. It's similar, very similar to flaked oats, like OIO. But I was like, well, if I'm not making protein balls in the near future, I'm just going to use this in a beer. And then I got to thinking like, wait, if I had some leftover like packets of the Quaker like flavored stuff, could I use that? I'm like, why couldn't I? And then I looked at the ingredients and I was like, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that because it's something that I actually had a thought of a couple months ago. I'm like, that'd be interesting.
I don't recall, but I hope what the gravity was or anything, or like the final gravity. But I'm pretty sure it was pretty high.
Yeah. A little bit more sugar in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like for crazy sweet, but like
for a smaller homebrew batch, the more sugar it's going to be like.
Yeah. Broke.
Yeah. Contains lactose.
20 IBU, do you think?
Yeah, if they're all added at the end of the boil, and it's not.
Yeah.
They probably have a way to cool their pool down. Pool.
Yep.
Before the hops to a nice 70 degrees Celsius. Be nice. Should you give me water?
Yeah, just a little mouth rinse. Son of a bitch. Don't you ever do that again to me.
Oh, sorry.
Now that we're refreshed, we're going to have a Geronimo IPA. Geronimo, I believe, was a big freighter ship that bopped up and down Detroit River delivering supplies.
That's fucking cool.
I'm pretty sure.
I like the sounds of that.
Our loyal followers can fact check that for us. And yeah, Walkerville, I think I mentioned they were around 1800s in the Hiram Walker district.
1885 to 1956.
There we go.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know they're back. Great ownership. They've been kicking it for over 10 years now, I think.
Yep.
Making really good stuff. And it's in a great spot downtown.
Yeah.
From Toronto to Windsor to go visit the family.
Yeah.
Via rail. Boom, it's right there.
Via the rail. By the rail. Via. That's why they're called that. That's amazing. So we'd also like to thank Via Rail for getting these beers back to us in one piece.
Very nice of them.
Via Rail, we'll grab your Via Rail. Hold on. Via Rail, we'll take your beer for you.
Via rail, we'll start a train on you.
We're cutting all that out, by the way. Oh, look.
Geronimo IPA.
Yeah, Geronimo. This is definitely an old school West
Classic.
Coast / American IPA. It's grapefruit orange peel-ish, piney, very smooth.
Yeah.
Low carbonation, very smooth. Not super sweet.
Ironically, for being in central Canada,
Yeah.
or as the Windsorites like to call it, the Florida of Canada, it's more like West Coast to me.
Yeah, I guess so. Just like
that
dark,
color, that like
American
citrus,
IPA color,
Yeah.
West Coast sort of vibes.
like yeah,
Yeah.
like the hops and even the color, like it's
piney, slightly citrusy. Yeah.
still delicious.
It's good. It's great.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Walker.
Thank you, Walkerville.
And your wonderful facility down in Windsor, right off
I can't wait.
the train station.
I can't wait to visit. I used to go to Windsor quite a lot when I played in a band. We played at Encore. I don't know if it's still called that, but
Played in a band down by the river.
pretty much. Yeah. Instead of living in a van down by the river, we played in a band down by the river.
Detroit River.
Yeah, right there. That's the only thing separating U.S. and Canada is the old river. Yeah, we used to go to Windsor all the time.
Nice.
Played a couple of big shows there. Opened up for Biff Naked there years
Cool.
ago.
I feel like you only love yourself every other day.
Yeah, so that's why I can't. Biff and I sort of differ on that, but she's cool. Yeah, we always had great shows out there. Between 2007 to like 2012, we probably played like 15, 20 shows out there. Also, like Chatham is near Windsor, right?
Yep.
And we did it. The biggest show we ever played was the Rockstock Festival
In Chatham?
at the Chatham Airport. They
Cool.
shut down the airport for the show. I don't think anybody's heard this story.
So
Except for the people who know me.
okay.
And of course, my other bandmates will. Most importantly, Ryan Harris,
He's over it.
lead singer of Silvercade, who I've mentioned on the podcast before. Everyone always asks me, like, "Oh, what was it like, being in a band and touring and all that kind of stuff, and like playing with these bigger bands and whatnot?" And we got thrown on the show last minute threw us on the Rockstock 2007 at the Chatham Airport. And there's a side stage and a main stage. And we basically just snuck into the main stage. Who was the headline? Finger 11, the Trues, Thornley. It was a big show. Yeah, Sloan, the Trues, Thornley.
Did it feel like the first time?
We were just talking to a security guard. We basically just distracted the security guard. And then once we were in, the beer's free flowing.
OV?
No, it was just Labatt 50 and like it's all bottles and stuff. So we're there talking. There's like some of the guys from Sloan are there. We're all just chatting. Anyways, long story short, there's these off-duty cops who are security guards. And the way that everyone got around the grounds, because the airport's big, in golf carts. So it was dark. I think it was Finger 11 on at the time. Maybe it was the closing band. It might have been Thornley. I don't know. But took a golf cart out to the runway. So we just took it out for a little joyride. We were there for like half an hour. We could hear the echo of the concert going on. And we were pretty drunk. We took it to this end of the runway, and then we just hightailed it down the runway. And we're like, whoa! It was like the wind is just like going past.
Took off?
It felt like we were flying because it was so dark. There was no like
His wings came out of the side of the golf cart.
When they close down the airport, they have to turn off all the lights so that nobody who, tries to make an emergency landing, because it's very unsafe. So they turned off all the lights. But yeah, so we took the golf cart and we were just driving down the runway and we felt like we were flying. It was fucking hilarious. And it was like going so fast. And Ryan's driving and we're getting closer to where we have to park the golf cart, but we're not slowing down and I'm not driving.
Yeah, fuck it.
And I'm like, we're getting pretty close. Like, yep, yeah, we are. He just like does this fucking like 360 and like parks it almost perfectly. And,
like
does
a full Austin Powers?
Little burnout and does a whoosh and parks it. And there's this guy, this big dude with a badge on his belt and a security laminate walking towards us as we turn the golf cart off. And then we see this guy coming towards us and we're like, oh fuck. We are completely fucked. And he comes out. He comes over here. And he looks at both of us. He's like, "It's a pretty sick move, guys. How do those things handle, anyways?" And we're like, "They handle pretty good." He's like, "Oh yeah, right on."
And then he stole one.
And then he just walked away. He just wanted to say sick move, and then we thought we were fucking arrested, basically. Nice. But he just assumed we were like some rock stars. But that's probably the most exciting. Everyone's like, "What's the most exciting thing you ever did?" And it's like, that's it. Yep. That's it. It was cool. It was just a cool moment because we thought we were fucked and we weren't. So, thank you, Walkerville, up here. Great beer. Thank you.
There's a lot of great little breweries down there. Right nearby, there's Chapter 2.
Yep.
Right around the corner. They get some really nice stuff.
Heard of them before?
Yep.
Yep.
There's Sandwich Brewing.
Oh, cool.
Which is in a town, maybe about a 10, 15 minute drive away.
Never heard
still an old, little district town.
Yeah.
Really nice old buildings. Kind of like distillery. Just good old brick buildings.
Cool.
That's their, what's another? GL Heritage. That's sort of out in Amherstburg. So that's more towards Essex County, so south of where Windsor is.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff around.
Damn.
Chatham, Frank Brewing.
Chatham. Oh, Frank Brewing. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, I've heard of Frank Brewing. Yep.
They're really good.
Cool.
I really like Big Wreck a lot.
Oh, they're great. I have this really embarrassing picture of me and Ian Thornley. So me and my buddy Matt, one of my really good friends in high school, and he was our photographer. I saw Ian Thornley, and he was chatting to some people. I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, Ian, I'm one of the bands playing today. I just wanted to say, I love you in Big Wreck and I love your solo album. It's really great." And he's like, "Yeah, hey, man, thanks." My buddy Matt, he's standing beside me just with his camera. He looks over at Matt, looks back at me. He's like, "So do you want a photo?" And I was like,
Yeah.
Why not? I'm already here.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, yeah. Love that.
Make it nice and heady.
Love that.
Easy stout.
Look at that.
We're 5.5%. A little more than easy.
That Staples button. That was easy. Easy Stout says it's 5.5% and 28 IBUs. Cheers first.
Cheers first.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sweeter than I thought, but
Yep.
good.
That's the milkiness of it.
I think so. Yeah, it's
Nice coffee roast finish.
So it is a milk stout. So I do think there is lactose in it. That's why it's sweet.
Yeah, must be.
Yeah, milk stout, lactose. That's okay. I would be interested to taste it without the lactose to get the full character of it. But that is very, very dark. Definitely around the 38, 40.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really, which is good,
The weather and the light change around here real quick.
Oh yeah.
Walkerville also makes a superb Russian Imperial Stout.
Yes, in a bottle, right?
They bottle it, yeah.
Yeah.
Barrel aged. I think they release every year. I think I got a few stashed at home.
I'd love to try that.
Yeah, they're really good.
I have a barley wine in here from Big Rock 2018.
Cool.
Maybe we'll do that in an episode.
Ooh.
Maybe we'll save that for the winter.
We'll do that winter episodes.
Yeah.
Trevor, may I?
Yes.
What would be your favorite adjunct to add to a stout?
I honestly love.
Oats in a stout. I just think that it
Peaches
adds,
and cream Quaker oats.
Although I have to
Single packs.
Oh, it's so hard to say. Okay, I do love an oatmeal stout. I love adding oats to the stout to give it a little bit more body, a little bit more thickness in the mouthfeel. But I think my favorite would be flaked barley. Flaked barley is my favorite to add to a stout. It just gives it a lot more depth and body and feel in the
All right,
mouthfeel.
so I'm not talking grains. I'm talking weird adjuncts.
Oh, weird. Because
Yeah.
that's technically an adjunct. But
We know what
Fuck.
grains.
Okay.
We know hops. We know malts.
Okay.
We know oats.
I have a great.
We know yeast, and we know delicious Toronto City water goes into beer. What kind of weird adjuncts are we? thinking here.
mallow root.
Mallow root.
Yeah. A marshmallow stout. Actually, it was marshmallow porter, but still, I would add it to a stout as well. It's a big brick of root. It kind of looks like tea. It's kind of like that, but it's a very, very coarse, like root. Working at Field and Forge in Alberta, I made a marshmallow porter, and we used a big bag of that in the boil kettle at the end. And after the brew was transferred to the fermenter, the big soaked bag of mallow root was just hanging there, and then it just fell. And it was a big boil kettle. It was like a 30 boil kettle. So it just fell to the bottom. I was like, oh, fuck.
The Stay Puft Marshmallow Man
So-
came in and kicked the door down
had
and
to-
then stepped into the kettle. And
I wish he had helped, but he was on vacation. So I had to wait till it cooled down. Then I had to climb in there. Luckily, I had my confined space training. Do not climb into any space unless you have your confined space training permit on you. What's your favorite adjunct to add to a stout and or porter? Since I had mentioned a porter, but it would also fit in a stout.
I think I've done a homebrew of really dark chocolate.
Okay,
That
like
I
baker's chocolate, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
baker's chocolate.
Cacao.
And did some fresh mint leaves. And then also did lactose.
Nice.
That
Yeah.
was pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was going for an after 8.
Nice. Turns out it was an after 9:30.
Because Christmas time, there's always the after 8s that come out.
Yeah.
After 8, after dinner or whatever. That's
Yeah.
usually the time
Yeah.
in the old English families. And fuck it, I don't want to eat those little things in that little paper bag. Drink it.
Yeah.
So I went for that
Makes sense.
large level. So collabs, if anyone wants to do that. After 8.
And we can do it anytime. It doesn't have to be after 8.
It would be nice seasonally though.
Yeah.
That's just like a funky seasonal beer, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it'd be cool.
yeah, I don't know.
Brew it for October, have it ready for November.
Yeah. I think we probably mentioned on here, but the charred peach.
Yeah.
Charred peach rock beer.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that was a really good one.
Heck
I
yeah.
like grilling fruit
Mhm.
and adding that for that just a little extra flavor in there.
Charred and or cooked fruit can add a lot to a darker beer because a lot of malts playing with the hops as well do lend to a lot of darker fruit flavors, like, you know, cranberry, like prune, raisiny.
I bet you could get away with a pretty good like mulled wine kind of stout.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That could be pretty cool. We would love it if you guys commented and asked a question down in the comments. I believe they're right below these cans here. And ask the question and we'll versus it against AI.
We will answer and then we'll have AI answer and we'll see.
And then we'll have that discussion.
Yeah. We will ask 3 questions to AI, then we'll also answer them and we'll compare our answers and see if we're right or if AI is right. That's the thing we want to ask of you, is to submit
Participation marks.
participation. Yep. Submit your questions in and we will get to them in the next episode. And also, if you're on YouTube, like this video, subscribe if you really like it, and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever else you listen.
We might do another on site.
Yes. I think the next one will be a half episode. So that's why I'm doing the 0.5s. So the GLB Brew Pub on location was our last one. That's 0.5, and that'll be up here. If anybody knows where we should go for our next one, please let us know. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anyways, we're drunk, so we're going to leave.
I'm not.
No, we are.
Right.
Not even close. We thank you all for watching, and just have a great time, and we love you.
Yeah, hang out.
And drink good beer, because life's too short.
Isn't that what we do? When life's too short?
When life's too short, drink great beer. Cheers, y'all.